In 1996, Ava Thompson vanished from a foggy Maine cliff, leaving only a book and a chilling note: "The girl is mine." 17 years later, a mysterious VHS tape reveals a predator's dark secret, unraveling a web of betrayal that shocks a small town. Who was watching Ava, and why now? This story, while fictional, is inspired by real cases for education and entertainment. Stay glued to uncover the twists. Like, subscribe, comment, and share to dive deeper into mysteries like this. Don't miss the truth hiding in the shadows. Watch until the end. October 14th, 1996, Willow Creek, Maine, was drowning in fog so thick it swallowed the cobblestone streets and the old lighthouse perched on the cliffs. The air was sharp, carrying the briny tang of the Atlantic, and the distant crash of waves against the rocks sounded like a warning no one heeded. Ava Thompson, 14, slipped out the back door of her family's weathered New England home, her yellow dress a splash of color against the gray. She clutched her National Geographic book, pages dog-eared from dreams of dolphins and coral reefs, and headed for her favorite spot by the cliff's edge. She didn't know someone was watching, hidden in the mist, their breath silent, their eyes locked on her every step. Ava settled on a patch of grass, her canvas sneakers kicked off, toes curling into the damp earth. Her book lay open to page 127, a chapter on deep-sea creatures glowing under her flashlight's beam. The lighthouse loomed nearby, its cracked lens dark, a relic of shipwrecks and ghost stories the locals whispered about. Then, a scream sharp, fleeting, swallowed by the fog. Silence followed, heavy and unnatural, as if the world held its breath. Her sneakers sat neatly by the book, but Ava was gone. A crumpled note lay pinned under a rock, scrawled in jagged letters, "The girl is mine." Minutes later, Maggie Thompson, Ava's mother, stepped onto the back porch, her heart already racing. She called Ava's name, her voice cracking against the wind. No answer. She ran to the cliff, her slippers sinking into the mud, and froze. The book, the shoes, the note, they stared back like a taunt. Her hands shook as she dialed the police, her words tumbling out in a frantic rush. Maggie's voice was raw, trembling. "Ava's not here. Her shoes are here, her book, but she's gone." The dispatcher, calm but urgent, cut in. "Mrs. Thompson, stay put. We're coming. Don't touch anything." Maggie dropped to her knees, clutching the note, its words burning into her mind. The fog seemed to pulse, hiding secrets just out of reach. Somewhere near the lighthouse, a shadow moved too quick, too vague to be sure. Was it a trick of the mist, or had someone been there, watching Ava all along? Sirens wailed in the distance, their red lights slicing through the haze, but the note's message hung like a curse. Someone had planned this, someone who knew Ava's habits, her love for that cliffside spot. The police arrived, their boots crunching on gravel, and sealed off the scene. But as they swept their flashlights over the grass, one question gnawed at them all. Who left that note, and where was Ava now? The Thompson family's wood-framed house sat quiet on the edge of Willow Creek, Maine, its clapboard walls soaked from the October fog of 1996. Inside, James Thompson paced the kitchen, his work boots scuffing the linoleum, while Maggie clutched a mug of cold coffee, her eyes red from crying. Their 12-year-old son, Ethan, sat on the stairs, hugging his knees, whispering, "Ava's coming back, right?" The living room was chaos, scribbling notes, radios crackling, and the phone ringing with neighbors offering help. Detective Laura Bennett, a wiry woman from Portland, with a no-nonsense stare, took charge. She knelt by the cliffside evidence, her flashlight catching the glint of Ava's bracelet, tangled in a briar patch near the lighthouse. The crumpled note, "The girl is mine," sat in an evidence bag, its words like a splinter in everyone's mind. James slammed his fist on the counter. "Maggie, why'd you let her go out there alone? That damn cliff's a death trap." Maggie's voice broke, sharp and raw. "You think I wanted this?" She was reading, James. Just reading her book, like always. Ethan's small voice cut through. "Ava wouldn't leave me. She promised to show me her whale drawings." Bennett stood, brushing mud from her jeans, her face grim. This wasn't random. Someone knew Ava's routine. She questioned the family, her pen scratching furiously. Maggie recalled Ava's habit of reading by the cliff, but no one knew she'd sneak to the lighthouse to watch the waves. A fisherman, his face weathered like driftwood, approached Bennett outside. "You know about the night hunter?" he muttered, glancing at the lighthouse. "Folks say he's been snatching kids since the 70s. Always near the cliffs." His words hung heavy, a ghost story turned too real. The search fanned out, volunteers combing the rocky shore and pine-choked woods. Dogs sniffed Ava's scarf, but her trail stopped cold at the cliff's edge, like she'd vanished into the sea. Bennett's team found faint footprints, men's boots, size 10, smeared by the tide. No fingerprints, no tired tracks, no cameras in sleepy Willow Creek to catch a glimpse. The bracelet, silver with a dolphin charm, was all they had, its clasp bent like it was torn off in a struggle. Bennett held it up, her gut twisting. Someone lured her. She didn't run off. As dusk fell, the lighthouse loomed in the fog, its shadow swallowing the searchlights. Ethan clung to Maggie, whispering, "What if the night hunter got her?" Bennett overheard, her jaw tightening. She didn't believe in legends, but those footprints weren't a ghost's. Someone had watched Ava, waited, and struck. The question burned, who knew her well enough to pull this off without a sound? The answer was out there, hidden in the mist, and Bennett swore she'd find it. 17 years later, November 3rd, 2013, the Thompson house in Willow Creek, Maine, stood weathered, its paint peeling like old scars. James Thompson, gray at the temples, drowned his nights in whiskey at the local bar. Maggie, now 60, checked every lock twice, her hands trembling, haunted by the girl who vanished. Ethan, 29, lived in Portland with his wife and 4-year-old daughter, Ava Rose, named for the sister he still mourned. The town had moved on, but the Thompsons lived in a shadow world, where hope and despair wrestled daily. That morning, Maggie found a plain cardboard box on the porch, no label, just her name scrawled in blocky letters. Inside, a VHS tape and a note. "Found this at an estate sale. Sorry for your loss. A friend." Her heart pounded as she dusted off their old VCR. Maggie called Detective Laura Bennett, now retired, her voice a raw whisper. "Laura, it's Ava. There's a tape. Someone filmed her that day." Bennett, her hair streaked with silver, was there in an hour. "Don't touch it again, Maggie. I'm coming. Someone's playing games, but why now?" The tape flickered to life on the grainy screen. Ava, 14, in her yellow dress, sat by the cliff, reading her National Geographic. The camera zoomed in, unsteady, from a distance, someone hiding in the pines. Another clip showed her laughing, talking to a man in a dark jacket, his face obscured by a baseball cap. The final frame caught a black pickup truck, half hidden in the fog, as Ava walked toward it, her smile trusting. Maggie gasped, tears spilling. Bennett's jaw tightened. This isn't just evidence, it's a confession. The tape's audio held a clue, a faint church bell, out of place for Willow Creek's single steeple. Bennett called in favors from the Portland PD to analyze it. The timestamp read October 14th, 1996, but the clock was off by an hour, suggesting the filmmaker wasn't localer, wanted to confuse the trail. The footage screamed calculation, someone who knew Ava's cliffside habit, someone she trusted enough to walk away with. Bennett rewatched the tape, her stomach churning. "He was stalking her for weeks, maybe months," she said. "And he's been sitting on this for 17 years. Maggie clutched Ava's old dolphin pendant, her voice breaking. "Who would do this, Laura? Why send it now?" Bennett had no answer, but the tape's arrival, just weeks before the anniversary of Ava's disappearance, felt deliberate. Was it guilt? A taunt? The note's handwriting was disguised, blocky and unnatural, but the words, "a friend," gnawed at her. Someone wanted the truth out, but not enough to show their face. As the VCR whirred, Bennett stared at the frozen image of Ava's smile, a question burning. Who had been watching her, and what were they hiding now? November 10th, 2013, Willow Creek, Maine, buzzed with unease as word of the mysterious VHS tape spread. The Thompson case, cold for 17 years, roared back to life, and the FBI joined Detective Laura Bennett's reopened investigation. Townsfolk whispered about the night hunter, the old legend now chillingly real. Bennett pored over the tape, her eyes catching a flicker in the footage, a reflection in the Thompsons' kitchen window, showing a man in a Willow Creek lumber t-shirt. Her pulse quickened. James Thompson worked at the lumber store, but so did Daniel Pierce, his assistant manager and close friend, a man who'd grilled burgers at their barbecues and fixed Ethan's bike. Could he be the shadow in Ava's final moments? Bennett cornered Daniel at his small house on the town's edge. "Where were you October 14th, 1996, Daniel?" she asked, her voice like steel. "Don't lie. I saw you in the tape." Daniel's hand shook, his eyes darting. "I dropped off lumber for James that morning." "That's it, Laura, I swear." "Then why'd Ava walk off with you?" Smiling, "No fear at all?" Bennett pressed, leaning closer. "She trusted you, didn't she?" He stammered, sweat beading on his brow, and Bennett knew she'd struck a nerve. She got a warrant and tore through Daniel's house. In a locked basement room, her flashlight revealed a nightmare. Walls plastered with photos of Avalon at school, shopping with Maggie, reading by the cliff. Two other girls' pictures were there too. Sophie Reynolds, vanished in 1993, and Claire Morgan, gone in 1999. A journal, in Daniel's scrawl, detailed his obsession with Ava. The final entry, dated October 14th, 1996, read, "Today's the day, she's mine forever." Maggie, called to the station, saw the photos and collapsed, sobbing. "He was our friend, Laura. He played catch with Ethan. How could he?" Bennett's gut churned. "He hid in plain sight, Maggie. That's how they operate." But Daniel was gone. His black pickup, matching the one in the tape, was found abandoned in a Bangor parking lot, 50 miles away. No prints, no trace. The journal hinted at a plan, but where had he taken Ava? The town reeled, parents locking doors, distrust poisoning old friendships. Daniel, the guy who coached Little League, a predator? It didn't compute. Bennett's team dug deeper, chasing leads on Daniel's past. The tape's church bell, mismatched with Willow Creek's, nagged at her. Was it a clue to where Ava was taken? As she stared at Daniel's journal, the words, "She's mine forever," burned into her. He'd planned this for years, but why send the tape now? Was he taunting them, or was someone else pulling the strings? The answer was out there, and Bennett felt it closing in, dark and cold as the Maine fog. December 15th, 2013, the White Mountains of Maine loomed, shrouded in fog, as Detective Laura Bennett led a team to a remote cabin 200 miles from Willow Creek. Eleanor Pierce, Daniel's frail mother, had cracked under questioning, revealing her son's inherited hideout, a place buried deep in pine-choked wilderness. The cabin, powered by solar panels, squatted in a clearing, its walls carved with eerie symbol spirals and eyes that sent chills down Bennett's spine. Her flashlight swept the snow-dusted ground, catching glints of something unnatural, like the forest itself was holding its breath. The team moved in, guns drawn, expecting the worst. Inside, they found Ava Thompson, now 31, Sophie Reynolds, and Claire Morgan, alive but hollow-eyed, huddled in a corner. 17 years of captivity had left them gaunt, their clothes threadbare, their faces etched with fear. Ava clutched a tattered book on marine life, her fingers tracing its pages like a lifeline. The cabin reeked of damp wood and despair, its walls lined with old magazines and a cracked mirror smeared with bloody handprints. A note in Daniel's handwriting, pinned to a table, read, "If I can't keep them, no one will." Ava's voice trembled as she spoke to Bennett. "He said my mom was dead. Showed me fake papers. I believed him, Laura." Bennett knelt beside her, voice soft but firm. "Ava, your mom never stopped looking. Not one day." Ava's eyes welled up. "He left 2 days before you came. Said he'd be back, but he never was." The women described Daniel's control, fake news clippings, locked doors, and cryptic notes with riddles that kept them terrified he was always watching. Sophie whispered about hearing whispers in the woods at night, like the forest was alive. Bennett's team found more. A torn book of Maine legends, pages missing, and a hidden box with Ava's yellow dress, folded like a trophy. The bloody handprints on the mirror hinted at a struggle, but whose blood? The rescue was bittersweet. Ava, Sophie, and Claire were free, but Daniel had vanished. Bennett scoured the cabin for clues, her gut screaming he wasn't far. As the team loaded the women into a van, a shadow flickered in the trees, too quick to chase. Was it Daniel, or her imagination? The note's thread echoed. No one will. Had he fled, or was he circling back? The symbols on the walls nagged at her, too precise, too ritualistic, hinting at something bigger than one man's obsession. Bennett radioed her team, voice low. He's not done. We need to find him before he strikes again. As the van rolled away, Ava stared out at the fog, whispering, I dreamed of the ocean every night. Bennett gripped her hand, but her eyes stayed on the trees. Something was out there, watching, and it wasn't finished. January 15th, 2014, Willow Creek, Maine, buzzed with cautious hope as Ava Thompson, now 31, stepped back into her family's weathered home. Maggie Thompson sobbed, clutching her daughter, while James, his hands shaking, couldn't meet her eyes. Ethan, now 29 with a 4-year-old daughter named Ava Rose, kept touching Ava's arm, as if she might vanish again. The town held a quiet vigil, but fear lingered. Daniel Pierce was still out there, a ghost in the fog. Detective Laura Bennett, now retired but tethered to the case, sifted through new leads. A second letter arrived at her doorstep, no return address, just coordinates scrawled on yellowed paper, pointing to the abandoned lighthouse near the cliffs. He's not done, it read, signed, a friend. At the Thompsons' dinner table, Ava's voice was soft, haunted. I dreamed of the ocean every night in that cabin. It kept me alive, thinking you'd forgotten me. Maggie gripped her hand, tears falling. Never, Ava, not one day. Ethan's voice cracked. I named my girl Ava Rose, so you'd always be with us. James, quiet till now, looked up, his eyes raw. Ava, do you blame me? I let Daniel in our house, trusted him. Did I do this? Ava shook her head, steady despite her scars. Dad, he fooled everyone. Evil hides best when it smiles. Bennett, meanwhile, dug into the lighthouse lead. An old photo from Daniel's basement showed him there in the 1980s, a teenager working maintenance, years before Ava's disappearance. The lighthouse tied to old vanishings, kids gone without a trace since the 70s, whispered as the night hunters work. Was Daniel the monster, or a cog in a darker machine? The coordinates led Bennett to the lighthouse's rusted door, carved with the same eerie spirals as the cabin. Inside, she found a hidden room photos of other girls, none identified, and a map marked with remote spots across Maine. Her radio crackled as she whispered, he wasn't alone. The town grappled with Daniel's betrayal, neighbors questioning every friendly face. Rebecca Holt, a local reporter, dodged Bennett's questions about the tape and letter, her eyes hiding something. I just report the truth, she said, but her hand shook. Dr. Jane Carter, a criminal psychologist, told Bennett, predators like Pierce blend in, weaponizing trust. He planned every step. Families must teach kids to spot manipulation over kindness, secret, keeping and lock their homes tight in quiet towns like Willow Creek. The truth, buried 17 years, clawed its way out, but at a cost. Ava's eyes still searched the shadows. As Bennett stepped from the lighthouse, a new spiral gleamed wetly on the door. She drew her gun, heart pounding, but the fog swallowed her view. Was Daniel watching, or was another hunter circling? The answer hung, sharp and cold, in the Maine mist, waiting to strike.